Hey guys, how are you? It's Bob from One Stop Mouse, and happy Vlogmas, even though it's really Streammas, I guess. Um, I was cutting my vlog for my second day of Vlogmas. You know, I'm doing them every other day, the 12 days of Vlogmas, and I had the computer I was working on crash and I would have got it done on time, but it was like 6:15 when it crashed. And I'm like, there's no way. So I just grabbed some of the graphics and pictures, put them on the green screen thing, and figured, well, I'll just go live. There's no way I'm going to miss this. Um, Katrina, hello. Disinfinity, hello, my friends. I don't know who else is going to show up. Hopefully, somebody. I did redo it sort of and put it out there, but there's other stuff going on as well. Thank you very much, Katrina, and thank you very much, Disinfinity, for showing up. And this actually, let's see. Oh, it's hey, Katrina. You know, I don't know who else is watching right now, but let me just say a very heartfelt thanks to both of you guys, especially the way that you were handing it off the other day when I was in Animal Kingdom, from one to the other, and in Magic Kingdom too. If you didn't know, actually, I probably looked like it. Lori Jean, how are you? Thanks for joining us. Krista Knoxville, hey. Our newest mod, how are you? Actually, I don't know if you're the newest mod or if Disney Dan is the newest mod, but you are both right there. Thanks for joining me. The other day when I was at Animal Kingdom, I don't know if you guys, I don't think I mentioned this. What an interesting day with that guy crabbing at me and everything in front of the line on Pandora. But I had been awake for like 36 hours straight. I had done a live stream in Magic Kingdom. Then I was editing the first Vlogmas, and then I was streaming again. No, I had to go to Disney to bring my equipment back as my last day as a cast member, and then I was streaming again. And so by the time I was sitting in the Nomad's Lounge there, sipping on some bourbon, I was ready to fall over the rail. So we're the newest together. Yeah, hey. VP is here. Is he? They're all saying he is. There he is. VP, my friend, how are you? Welcome. I couldn't, I had a computer crash, literally, not my new one, another one. So I couldn't do my Vlogmas to get it out on time at 8 o'clock. So I just grabbed some graphics and pictures and said, this is going to be Streammas. I'm not going to miss this. So welcome everybody into the stream, all my buddies. What's going on? So the deal is, a frozen Christmas. Well, first of all, I had a nice little script written out for like a 6-page script that was written out for voiceovers and everything for my vlog for Vlogmas, and I've got it right here. And I'm just gonna move my green screens like I like to do, and I'm just gonna talk about it here. It actually is kind of it's interesting subject. The first two of my Vlogmases are basically about my family and how we celebrated stuff. I don't know if you guys have already seen. Yeah, hit that like button, please. And thank you all you guys for jumping in here. I know it was kind of last minute. It was supposed to be a vlog. Keep practicing that, Krista. That's great work. So anyway. And I know we're all already following, but thank you. A frozen Christmas. This is not exactly going to be a discussion per se about a frozen themed Christmas, like, frozen all over and all frozen ornaments on your tree and everything. This is actually going to be a discussion about the Norse themes, traditions, myths, celebrations, and art that actually inspired the artists and the producers of the film Frozen, which are all over that movie. These inspirations were part of the atmosphere that I grew up with, though, so I knew that for a long time. and was very familiar with it. So I could see it in the movie and was looking at all over the place. These traditions were most especially highlighted during Christmas. My family is Norwegian, and Norwegians are crazy about Christmas. So it was like everything that they were about, Norwegians and Norwegian culture was like on steroids for Christmas. Literally. Let's see here. This is how Bob follows the yellow brick road. So there you go. But my green screens are not in order, so I'm looking around. So like I said, it's not about frozen ornaments that I've bought at Disney and me being a fanatic about the movie per se, but I'm a fanatic about what inspired Frozen. And so it kind of is going to give you another layer about the movies. Now, first of all, one interesting thing is for the people of Frozen, for the Norse people, but really the Norwegian people, that's what they followed for that. Christmas Eve is actually celebrated on December 23rd. They call it Little Christmas. And Christmas Day, so to speak, was not on the 25th. It was ratcheted back a day. It was not the 25th, but the 24th. And most of the celebrating happened on Christmas Day night, which was the 24th after 5 o'clock. That's when all the hoopla started. And that was a tradition, along with some other crazy traditions, that was started by the Vikings way back centuries ago, along with some other interesting things like very strong alcoholic beverages. There's some really, I've been finding out a lot about my Viking heritage. There's this one thing, this condition that you kind of get in your hands, these like lumps in your hands, and it is something that people of Viking ancestry get when they get to be like middle-agey, like my age. And this is the strangest thing ever. It's like a genetic mutation, because these guys, it's like you reaching back in time, because these guys rowed so much in these big Viking longboats. By the time you got to be my age, unless you wanted to have ripped up hands, your body sort of mutated beyond just calluses, but literally to have a different structure to your hand. And so a lot of people, I'm not a farmhand. You know, I work at Disney, or used to, on a computer, but I'm getting this kind of thing anyway. If you were to shake my hand, next time you shake my hand, VP, feel my hand, you're going to think that I like work out in the fields picking strawberries or something. So there's strong, strong ties for people who have Norse ancestry. And it doesn't matter if you're in Norway or Sweden or whatever. If you're in Detroit or Orlando, it's amazing how these people celebrate this kind of stuff. All right, Candy Mom is here. It's time. Lay down your weapons. All right, so like I said, the big day was the 24th. And Little Christmas, prepping for the big day, was the 23rd. How crazy are Norwegians for Christmas to this day still? The people of Frozen? Well, this is interesting, and you can look this up online. This is pretty amazing. You'd have to, if you do look this up online, you will literally notice and see articles about they're so insane for Christmas that when it's Christmas time, they literally take every product, anything you could imagine, and just add Christmas to the front of it. And I don't know if it's better for sales or not, but, you know, so, okay, so this is a mouse in April, but in December, it's a Christmas mouse, and it's a Christmas phone, and it's a Christmas coaster, and it's a Christmas pair of jeans. It's Christmas soda. It's Christmas hot dogs. It's the craziest thing ever. Christmas bacon, Christmas jeans, and I'm not exaggerating. Bob, I need your address. Katrina, I got your card today. Okay, I'll give you my address. Actually, I don't have a P.O. box. I'll give you my address anyway, off to the side. Woohoo, this one getting the same Candyman. I don't know what they're saying. What are you saying? I don't know. What are they saying? Are you saying I didn't? I don't. Forget it. I'm sticking to the script. It may not be Vlogmas, but it's Streammas. And Kelly's not here to throw me off, so I'm good. And don't call her. Okay, so Norwegian folk attire. This really ties into Frozen, because I'm sure you remember Frozen. It wasn't Elsa so much, but it was the way that Anna dressed and the people of her kingdom dressed. They dressed like these people right here behind me, and that is traditional Norwegian folk dress. Now, my family, at least half of them, so we're talking about on my dad's side, the Norwegian side, probably about 10 people. When we would go to my grandmother's house to celebrate Christmas Eve, hello, Faith, Hope, and Disney, aka Barbara, how are you? Thanks for joining the stream. This is Streammas because I had my computer crash, so it couldn't be Vlogmas at 8 o'clock, and we were not going to give in, so we're doing it anyway. If we can have Bodicades at Animal Kingdom, we can have Streammas, at least just for tonight. I have a new computer right down there that I'm waiting for the new security features from Microsoft to go through, and then shouldn't have that issue again. But this poor old baby here I've had that desktop for a long time. Anyway, if you notice those people behind us, that's how the people in the kingdom dressed. And I would have 10 people greeting me every Christmas dressed like that. And we're talking, from as far back as I can remember through the 70s. And well, I guess I really wasn't around for too many more Christmases once I, turned 18 and went away to school and started traveling and stuff. But through most of the 70s and into the 80s, most of my family would dress like that every Christmas, of course, on the 24th. And my grandmother would dress like that, and she looked just like Anna from Frozen with the braids and in a version of that. And, at the time she was like 70 years old, so she was cute as pie. Is that Bob dressed up? Yeah, that's me. I would put that on. You know what? If I had kids, I don't, but if I had kids, I would definitely want to tie them in to my Norwegian heritage. I don't know, Candy Mom, you're giving me sort of an idea. Except your dad, Bob, he was Santa. Yes, my dad was Santa. He didn't start out the evening like that necessarily, but he did not dress up like that. You could not get him to dress up like that. He was too macho. He just couldn't take it. Jim Ryan, live from Orlando. It's Saturday Magic. Yes, Jim, this is Streammas because I had a computer crash and it could not be Vlogmas, and I wasn't not going to put something out. So there you go. Thank you for joining us. The wonderful James Ryan, Kelly always says that he's amazingly handsome. So I'll just throw that out there. Kelly will probably get in here in just a second when she finds out that I'm doing Streammas and start giving you those compliments yourself. All right, so continuing with my Vlogmas script on Streammas. Yeah, my grandmother. Can you imagine a 70-year-old lady version? Can you imagine Anna from Frozen at 70 years of age? Just cute as pie. All right. I had to do this really quick, so I gotta try the Frozen Christmas. Frozen. Okay, so Rose Marling ruled. Come on, focus on my face. Okay, it's focusing on my face now. With all of us in the chat, Bob staying on script. Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, I know. Hey, pal, good to see you on point and on task. You are such an up-and-coming Modest Infinity. Yeah, he's a good guy. Really, 13 years of age. I don't know. He's really got it going on. That's all I'm going to say. Bob, my husband is in the fridge trying to eat my cookout pickles. Always broadens my capacity to smile when they see the fun aimed. Cynthia, Kenny Mom. All right, so Rose Marling ruled. Rose Marling is an art form that was specifically highlighted in Frozen all over the place. You can see it right behind me on that tree. It's a specific design style used everywhere in the Frozen films. It's a folk art sort of a form, and because everything in Norwegian culture is so crazy amped up, you know, to the nth degree during Christmas, it was even more so. Most Norwegian Christmas trees are decorated in ornaments with hand-painted designs. And many times, like in my family, this style of art was passed down generationally and featured ornaments painted by the youngest, the oldest, and, you know, great grandparents and stuff, deceased people in the family. The effect was a tangible one that instilled the importance of togetherness, family heritage, and legacy into children from the youngest age without anybody having to make a speech. I mean, you're there's the tree, you've got ornaments like that, and ornaments, let's see, I think I have another one. Is that the only one I got? Yeah, and wooden ones like that hanging off the tree. And like I said, this was all, you can see the palace here behind me in Frozen, featured all of that. Anna's dresses featured all of that. To see a Christmas tree, you know, decorated with all of these different types of ornaments, some of them, and you know, these were like family heirlooms, some of them like hundreds of years old, passed down from generation to generation. Two things occur to me. One is amazing heritage, reaching back in time, family history every year. And number two, I would be petrified to have that in my own house because I have a crazy cat that always likes to run up the tree, and I couldn't have precious heirlooms on the tree. That's also what I always think when I see the Pepper Tree Villa trees, Candy Mom, that they couldn't be in my house. Hey, then again, Barb, nice to see you. Thanks for the support. You give to so many creators. I do have, Katrina, I actually do have a few ornaments like that. I just don't put them out on the tree because of the cat, but I do have them. They're quite amazing. Yeah, really cool. And this Rose Marling thing was quite a big deal. And I know that you guys are pretty much clued in just by going to Epcot about how wonderful some of the Norwegian pastries are. And that's school bread up there. That's at the Kringla Bakery in the Norway Pavilion at Epcot. This shouldn't surprise you, but those things that they have, the school bread and the troll horns there and the Kringla, if you think those are good, if you actually had the real deal version with the historical recipes that your grandmother made, warm out of the oven. That would show you a thing or two. The school bread, the troll horns, the kringla were even more luscious. And then there's a couple of dishes like krumkaker, and these little tiny melt in your mouth sort of waffles, heart-shaped, that if they sold those, actually, guess what? They used to sell the little, I don't know if any of you have ever had them, but they used to sell the fresh little tiny heart-shaped waffles like my grandmother used to make at the Kringla Bakery at Epcot, and they stopped selling them like 5 or 6 years ago. Trader Joe's sells them, the little heart-shaped waffles. I've seen them, pre-made, like in packages and stuff. Trader Joe's sells, Krista Knoxville, is that they sell school bread or they sell the waffles? But krumkaker, Krumkaker, that was actually the most popular pastry and still is to this day in Norway and stateside here. And Norwegians go to great pains to make this thing. Let's see. You can see behind me that basically to make this, they're very, very delicate. Krumkaker means crumb cake, but it's not like a crumb cake like you would have here with a cake with like crumbs on it. It's because these things are so delicate that as soon as you bite into them, they literally fall apart all over the place, which means shipping, like my grandmother would try to do to me when I was in college, you would just get this tin of little crumbs. Still tasted good, but black and white cookies, yes. I grew up in New York. I am well familiar with those. James, that sounds like him. I have in. I gave him a few, and he's had a bad night, right, Katrina? You're a good one, Katrina. We men are sort of hardwired to eat things in the fridge, being saved for other occasions. We can't help ourselves. So they're this very delicate cone-shaped cookie that involves rolling. You make this very thin pancake out of this sugar cookie kind of a dough. And then you roll them around this special, used to be wrought iron, and now they're like stainless steel, kind of a cone-shaped iron, and then let them cool. And you can actually see, if you look closely on them, they actually have the rose marling type designs I was talking about imprinted into the cookies. And every family has someone in their family that can actually make these things, and it's a must. They have to do it. And my stepmom makes those and the little waffles. They live up near Daytona Beach, and I gotta get some of it. They're in their 80s, and so I have to get those recipes to pass those on, because I wish that I was making them right now. I would make them. Yeah, I'm like a microwave guy. I would want to make them, and then I would probably try to get my wife to make them. That's the truth. Man, just talking about these things is like, let's see, the waffles. We got the waffle. We got a shot of the waffles. There's the waffles. Talking about these things makes I feel like Winnie. Hey, Kadani Sean, how are you? Kadani Sean, I messed up. My computer crashed. And so I was in the final stages of editing my second episode of Vlogmas. And so I had to just go with something. And so I was like, well, it's better than doing nothing. I'll go with Streammas. And so I'm just basically I'm going with my Vlogmas script right here, and I'm just doing it. How are you tonight, Sean? Thank you for joining the stream. I'm talking about, for those of you just joining us, a frozen Christmas. The art, the design, the pastries, trying to get the camera to focus on me. the food, the strange traditions that they would have followed in Anna and Elsa's kingdom, but what it really is it's based on Norwegian culture, ancient and to this day. And Norwegians really, really, really stick to stuff. I mean, a lot of the stuff they do is stuff that the Vikings did centuries ago, and they still do it. I like waffles too, LOL. I like all foods. Who am I kidding? Krista, we got to get together and have some meals, man. You're right along the same wavelength. James, jump on, my friend. How are you? How's the recuperation process? Oh yeah, Kidani Sean, please prayers for your hand. I saw that picture of your hand. Oh man. Anyway, so heart-shaped waffles. Grandma made them. They're not like the ones that are prepackaged that you can get in the stores. These guys were. It was a special. They were like melt in your mouth, literally. Very soft. I think there was sour cream in the batter. They were like smaller than this. They're like the size of a child's palm of their hand, and just delicious. August 21, be there. We're gonna go and we're gonna eat it up. Liking all foods is cool at Kristen and the Project Disney. Sorry, can't you? Let's see. So we had those, and then like I said, the versions of the Kringla Bakery stuff, Krumkaker, they should sell at the Kringla Bakery if and when they ever do it, or if they bring the little waffles back. You would love it. The little waffle things that they sold were almost as good as my grandmother's at the Kringla Bakery, and they had strawberry jam on them. And the Cholhorns at the Kringla Bakery, what do you expect? It's not just memories, really. They can't like mass produce these things and they be as authentic as your Norwegian grandmother. But Cholhorns, they had the same thing. They had tiny little irons that they wrapped phyllo dough around. Phyllo dough is the croissant sort of dough. So if you haven't had one of those before, it's sort of like a crescent roll or a croissant that's hollow because they pull the iron out and then they put in fresh dairy cream. Whoops. Now, these things are too bad on the editing, Bob. I just finished mine. I'll be uploading shortly. Yeah, I know. I had it all done. I shot it yesterday. I was editing for hours, and I'm like, I'm gonna make it. And it's I was like on the dinosaur ride. We're not gonna make it. And I didn't make it, but I'm putting something out. So I there's no way that I wasn't going to do that. I did make the effort, and obviously I've got pictures and graphics and stuff. So it's better than not doing it. I'm not going to do what I said I'm going to do. Sorry to hear. Hope you're feeling better. Okay, so the school bread, Norwegian. Well, first of all, you got the school bread, you got the Cholhorns, you've got Kringla, which I don't have a picture of here, which is the namesake of the bakery at Epcot. And sometimes they have an item in the bakery labeled as Kringla, and sometimes they have the items there, but they call it something else. But it's sort of like a Norwegian version of it's not a coffee cake, but it's but it's those things you might have seen them. They're like shaped like a pretzel, a big pretzel, but they're not brown like a pretzel. They're like a roll, like that, the school bread behind me. And it's got different sorts of icing on it, and they're actually really yummy. So if you ever go in there, even if and you see these pretzel things, and even if they're not called Kringla, you should really try them out. And then another thing that Norwegians like very, very much, and I don't have that picture here now either because of what happened with the Vlogmas, is you're going to love this name, pepperkaka, which means pepper cake, pepper Kake. And it basically is like a Norwegian frozen version of gingerbread. But the way that they do it is very interesting, tied into their heritage. They would make these cookies, these gingerbread cookies, shaped like Norwegian longboats, like Viking ships, and have the little bumps on the side because the Viking ships, they used to hang their shields on the outside of both sides of the ship. And then they would very delicate icing, green and white and red icing, do that rose marling sort of pattern on the cookies. So they're amazing looking cookies, and most of the time they're really good. A lot of times they just taste like gingerbread. Bob is a big player on social media. Message One Stop Mouse right here. Thank you so much, Jim Ryan. Kind of looks like a donut. Yeah, that's the school bread. That's the school bread behind me. That's not kringle. I don't have the kringle here. I'm going to get in trouble for this, but I'm not a fan of the school bread in Norway. Kadani Sean, on a 1 to 10, the school bread that you see behind you at the Norwegian Pavilion is a 5. My grandmother's and the real deal, if you're in Norway, is like a 10. So we've got Jim Ryan in here. He can talk to this. If I go to a pizza place down the street here in Davenport and have a pizza, or if Jim, who is in New York right now, just we tell him, go to the closest pizza place to you, not any place special necessarily, just go to the place that's closest to your home and have a slice of pizza. That pizza in New York, and I know you guys have heard this before, and that piece of pizza here, even the best pizza here, are not even in the same species. That's the same thing with these things at the Kringle Bakery. This school bread ain't nothing like the real thing. So keep an open mind, Kadani. Anyway, that's just for a picture. Now, this is the deal. It was a big deal for Norwegians, for frozen people, and they were frozen. That's why it was a big deal. It was Elena, K808, aloha, Bob, and everyone. Hello, thank you for joining the stream. We're talking about the real deal frozen Christmas, Norwegian Christmas. So it was a big deal to have tropical fruit at all, ever. So it was a real big deal to have school bread and to have coconut on it, or to have any kind of thing that had coconut on it, or bananas, or anything like that. These people, especially back in the day, like my grandmother, back at the turn of the century in the early 1900s, she literally lived on looked like a rock. It was a tiny little island off of southern Norway. And they literally nicknamed her island the end of the world, because that was as far as you could go back in, Viking days. They didn't know what was past there. They would get snowed in for a large chunk of the year. These little houses would have snow going up and over the roofs. And these were just to get these luscious exotic fruits from other places was just like a window into some other kind of world. And to just give you an example to that, my grandmother at the age of 20 in the 19-teens, when she was emigrating to the United States from Norway, of all the things and hopes and dreams and all the immigrant stuff that's written on the Statue of Liberty and everything, funny aside, fun fact, she literally had it in her head that she had heard about how great a banana tasted for her entire life. And we don't have Kelly on the stream here, so hopefully we're not going to have any bad jokes. And that was the one thing she wanted to do as soon as she got off the boat into the United States. In New York, she wanted to taste a banana, because she had never had that. She'd had, and in Norway, when they were making this, they didn't have like a half a cup of coconut on their delicacies like that. They had a few shreds was all. So moving on, well, let's see. Hold on. School bread, troll horns, kringla. Moving on from that, well, first of all, they were really, really big into Saint Nick and to having their own sort of at-home Santa sort of stuff. And I wasn't really aware of that as much as I am now, because I just thought it was my dad who did that at our house. But it was sort of a tradition for them, especially. Check out, this is, just consider this to be Vlogmas Day 2, but check out the other one, which really was a vlog where I'm talking about my hero, my dad, who played Santa every year and in the extreme way that he did it. And that all that does is tie it in more and more to the traditions. Kristen Knoxville. Ooh, no coconut. Did she, Bob? Yeah. So that, how strange is that? You immigrate to the U.S. and like, but it was true. So moving on to what your traditional meal would be. We have traditional dress. Imagine having your Frozen Christmas, before there was that movie out. Imagine every year everybody's dressed up like this. You're a little kid. You're like, oh, I guess that's the way it is. You have a tree with hand-painted ornaments on it like this, and wooden ones, and you're looking at like your great-great-great-great-grandfather's ornament at the top of the tree. And talk about like reaching back through time. And this rose marling design that's become sort of famous now because it was featured in the Palaces of Frozen on Anna's dress. All of these great, super delicious, scrumptious things. And so now we've come to, what would you have for your main course in this Frozen celebration? And like I said, back in the day, they still celebrate Christmas as if it were, like 200 years ago. And some of the traditions like 600 years ago or something. The preferred thing is to have a bone-in pork roast, which they call ribba, which is making me think of getting a McRib right now for some reason. I got to get a lot of those before they go out of style. And don't anyone tell me that a McRib is made of the worst parts of the meat. I know they are. I love them anyway, just like bologna and hot dogs. I know. So if they could get it, the big thing for people of the Frozen era, hundreds of years ago, would have been to have a bone-in pork rib. Unfortunately, it was a real big deal because at least a quarter of the year for a lot of these people, they were snowed in, barely could get out of their homes to get to like frozen over water sources and stuff, and certainly couldn't travel and trade all that much. Everything was sort of shut down at, like when Elsa froze everything over. Imagine a large chunk of your year being like that. And so fresh meat was kind of hard to come by. McRibs are back. Yes. Thank you, Krista. And so what they usually ate, this would be preferred. If you were rich, maybe you'd have both this and the next thing. But what they usually ate, and I know I'm going to hear ews, but actually it's quite good. And especially if you make it like this. This isn't traditionally how they make it. Now, I know you're looking at this, and I know what you're thinking. You're going, oh, really? They have hush puppies in Norway? Oh, yeah, Kadani Sean. Fried bologna sandwich. I think we should have a fried bologna sandwich party. Okay, these are not hush puppies. And back in the day, they didn't fry them up like this. This is just the way that I would do it because they're really, really good when you do this. But they literally, remember I said they had to have food that they could store for a long time. So this is called fiskeballa. And what that is those are codfish balls. Codfish meat balled up and boiled, and then put in a can with water and lye, believe it or not, and then, canned, and then put in these storage sheds, these pantries. And that's basically what they would eat most of the time through these long, hard Norwegian winters. There was also another version. They just weren't balled up. It was called lutefisk. And I know my friend from the Live Place, by the way, Dean at the Live Place, please check out the Live Place. It's for family-friendly live streams. Started off as Disney, now it's going into all kinds of territory, but he lives where a lot of Norwegians live, which is in the Twin Cities area. And I'm sure if he gets on here, he is very, very familiar with lutefisk and fiskebola. So most of the time you would expect, it wouldn't matter if you were rich or poor, you're probably eating this, but that's fried up. That's how I would make it now. They usually would open these cans, take these fish balls out, drain them, soak them in water, and empty it out, repeatedly over like 2 days ahead of time. And then, what is that, Candy Mom? And then boil them, and sometimes fry them. These look like these are deep fried, and they're not bad. Lutefisk, like I said, was so when people hear that, they're like, lye, that's like for gardening and burying bodies and stuff. You're actually storing your food in lye, really, Bob? Yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Second page down on the script of Vlogmas. I think I only have 4, but I talk a lot, so let's see. Oh, you're gonna love this one. They had wacky traditions, which is weird. So what the heck is with the colored brooms, Bob? Let's see. Let's catch up with the stream. Elena, I hear spam and I think of 51st dates. Oh God, yeah. Such a Hawaiian thing. Have any of you guys tried out the spam dishes at the festival booths at Epcot? I actually had at that Hawaiian booth. They had some. It was really schmancy for spam, but they were spam sliders, and they had like all kinds of things on the side that were really fancy. I think it was like a musée bouche on the side. I mean, that's like, it's yummy, hot or cold, Elena. Love spam at Elena 808. Cool. Let's hope Kelly and Pete aren't watching. Disinfinity, they grab all these sound bites and they're out of it. Oh, they look yummy, Bob. Bob is making me hungry with all this food he's showing. Yeah, they are yummy. Okay, so the witches are coming. No, I'm not talking about that movie on HBO Max. I am not confusing Christmas celebration with Halloween celebration, but there is an ancient tradition in Norway, and would be in frozen country too if you were hanging around long enough, longer than the movies, where Norwegian Norse frozen families follow to this day and have been doing it for thousands of years, in good fun now. But you literally, on December 24th, their Christmas day, before you go to bed, you have to take any brooms that you have in your household and hide them away in a good place. And most people actually lock them away under lock and key. And it's basically supposed to keep bad omens away, bad vibes, bad spirits, and give you good luck in the coming year. So, it's gotten to be fun. And like you see hanging on the fence here, people will literally put them out, have a bunch of them, make them multicolored and everything, and make a whole ceremony out of doing that. So giving back to Mother Nature, that's another frozen, quote unquote, tradition. And like I said, we're not talking about a frozen themed stream here where we're getting, you know, stuff at Shop Disney and it's about that. We're talking about the traditions and the mythology and the art and design and everything that inspired the movie Frozen, that make it real special and layered if you look at it close. But to me, were very evident right away because I grew up with it. So another thing that they would do is it was another Christmas tradition to tie up at least one small bundle of wheat and nail it up near your front door to feed the birds. And this was giving back to the goddess of nature and nature in general now. And this was also a good luck thing that they did. And they'd put it up on Christmas, the 24th of December, and leave it up through the new year. And to them, it was, you know, it was like Southerners in the United States eating black-eyed peas on New Year's Day for good luck. The witches' brooms and the wheat, that basically is what, and so they continue to do it to that day. They are traditions. There's another tradition which is kind of interesting, kind of cool, and you know, it's just a fun little fact. Old-fashioned prizes for young ones. What do they do on December 25th? They basically spend the 25th through the until the 31st, I guess, the last day of the year. They basically party and visit. No holds about it. Not so much here on this note, but in Norway, Norwegians are big party animals. They their lineage back to the Vikings, who were the ultimate party animals. I think I read somewhere that more beer per capita is consumed by your average Norwegian than anybody anywhere in the world. And that's including where you would think it would be, which would be like Germany, but it's not. Hanging the wheat. Isn't that nice? So anyway, this is another thing that they do. And if you haven't heard of marzipan before, and I'm sure a lot of you have heard of it, it's this candy that they make with almond oil and let's see, what is it? It's almond oil and honey and almond oil. And my grandmother made this traditionally, just like the way that they used to do it. It wasn't quite like the rice pudding that Jim and I might get from a deli in New York. It was different. It tasted different. My grandmother would make up this bowl of, like you're seeing there, it's a freshly made hot bowl of rice pudding served with a bunch of sugar, cinnamon, and butter, and put into a bunch of bowls, anonymous. And then in one of those bowls, and you don't want to do this, obviously, if you have somebody with a nut allergy in your house, so please don't do this. There was an almond placed in there, and the person who discovered the almond in their delicious bowl of rice pudding won a marzipan pig. And what's funny is, you know, it's just a little candy, weird kind of pig, but the Norwegian, the frozen traditions that I'm talking about, you know what really gets Mouse Talk? Hey, how are you? Thanks for joining us for Streammas, because Bob's computer crashed, so Vlogmas went out the window. I was about to post it, but couldn't finish editing it. I think it has no taste, LOL. It's in rainbow cookies. Thanks for joining us, Walt. So one of these frozen Norse traditions was having the rice pudding, and then the one who found the almond basically got a marzipan pig as a prize. It's an acquired taste marzipan. Who who thinks Krista Knoxville thinks it has no taste. I always wanted to get it, but then I would just give it to my sister. But it's really interesting. There are some similarities to Disney about this. I know a lot of people that really weren't into Disney and they had other ideas about it. But once they got around me and other people that were crazy about it, it was like a virus. It was catchy. And that contagion made them big Disney fans too, seeing it through our eyes. And some of these weird traditions that date all the way back to the Vikings and all the way back to when, Frozen was supposedly set. I would get excited for these things because they would get excited. Just like if you look at Vlogmas day number 1, that was really a vlog from a couple of days ago, the whole Santa tradition and my dad being a method actor Santa, they amped it up so much that even once I was old enough to know that's not Santa. My dad and Santa are never in the same place at the same time, like Clark Kent. I didn't want to let on that I knew the secret because I was so caught up in this. So all these little things like the marzipan pig and everything, I would be totally into it. Rice pudding is good. Good to see you, Walt. Hope you're having a good night. I didn't see the movie review. I'm so sorry. I will go and watch the playback. So that was another thing. And if you haven't had marzipan, if you find it, like if you go to the supermarket tomorrow, it'll be there in like the ethnic aisle, and they usually make marzipan in like tiny little things, not pigs, that are shaped as fruit. And that goes back to this frozen over winter, a quarter to a third of the year, and them wanting tropical fruits. So guess what? A lot of the marzipan are shaped like bananas and coconuts and papayas and stuff that back in the old days they could never get. So that's interesting. Let's see, traditional. Oh, and so a lot of these traditions and a lot of these things, they stem back to the Vikings themselves. And so let's see, what should I do first? Let's see, do I have Glogg? Oh, here we go. One of their drinks, I have 2 alcoholic drinks and a non-alcoholic drink. One of them that's really, really popular, and it's really popular in Germany too, is slightly different there. It's called Glogg in Norway, in frozen country. Right now, you can taste, if you go to the Festival of the Holidays and you go to the German booth where they have stuff, you will see that they have a hot wine with a cinnamon stick in it and other seasonings. And I had it when I was there the other day, a few days back, when it got to 40 degrees at Epcot, when I was with VP and Gonzo and Kelly from the Mickey Bunch. And that really, really hit the spot. And I don't think I ever had that in my life, actually, because when I was around all these crazy Norwegians dressed like that, I wasn't old enough to drink. So very, very good. And this is just about the same. So yeah, if you haven't had it and you happen to go to Festival of the Holidays over at Germany, you might want to try the German version of Glogg, this warm, seasoned, basically, I guess it's what they've talked about through history as mulled wine. Yeah, so Lori Jean, have you ever had mulled wine? Bob is low-key famous. He knew Walt and Santa. That's me, low-key famous. Katrina, remember that guy screaming at me online? I'm low-key. I'm staying quiet. Let him go away. On my end, guess where I'm parked to pick up my son? Doesn't like YouTube. I'll have to catch the replay, or maybe I'll catch the last bit when I get home. If I don't come back, night everyone. Hey, Krista Knoxville, take care. You were born in Berlin? Really, Candy Mom? Very cool. Now, the second frozen-y Norwegian kind of drink, kind of weird, but like I said, they're fanatics about Christmas. So everything is anything that's red, anything that's green. Okay, so see this thing here? they spell it as Yule. Yule is, they say in Norway, they say to Merry Christmas. In Norwegian is Glada Yule, which means Happy Christmas. And Yule Bros, it's this Christmas drink. And really, it's this really super, I don't know what kind of coloring they put in there, but it's a super bright red soda. And people drink it like crazy during Christmas, like they just have to drink it. And they add it just a little bit to a few things just because the food coloring, hope it's not like red dye number 5 or something, but the coloring in there lends itself to whatever you put it in there. And so that brings us to our last one. This is crazy, this one. Okay, so Akvit. It is similar to a very strong vodka, tasting slightly like rye bread because it's made from caraway seeds. It was invented by our Viking ancestors, or my Viking ancestors, maybe some of yours, and it during Christmas, to make it Christmas Akvit, they mix it with a real small amount of that brightly red soda, so they make it red in color. The Christmas Akvit is the strongest alcoholic beverage that I have ever tasted, and I didn't have it very much. Bye, Krista. If you ever see it anywhere, you might split a shot or something with somebody just so you can say that you actually had it. It's one of the strongest alcoholic beverages in the world. It was invented, and not a surprise, by the Vikings themselves, who, if you look this up, I don't know how you could party any hardier than the Vikings after they came back from conquests or at festivals and feasts, bacchanalias, and different times of year. They follow that Wicca sort of calendar, so spring and fall, and then especially the biggest one was Christmas. And it's making a big comeback in America. This is 3 that I see here. One's called Ragnarok, which was Doomsday for Thor in one of the Thor movies, and one of them has like a citron, and one's darker, and one's whatever. Now, what's interesting is they used to actually sell this strongest alcohol that you will ever taste at Epcot's Norway Pavilion, of all places. It doesn't, and it's not like 20 years ago or something. A lot of stuff, if you look closely, has changed at Disney in a period of definitely over 10 years, but a little, somewhere between 10 and 5 years, maybe like 5 to 6 years. Up until about 5 years ago, you could go into the Kringla Bakery, and right there on a shelf was a few bottles of Akvit, and you could buy a shot of that and have that. And right there in that same right side, you could order those melt in your mouth little waffles, and they would put strawberry jam on it, and they would freshly make them for you right there too. Both of those have hit the road. I don't know, I guess maybe it was work to have to do the waffles when people wanted them, but I definitely do know why they got rid of Rachel Loves Disney. 26 years old. Congratulations. Happy birthday, Rachel. How are you? Thanks for joining us. We're talking all about the real traditions of the Norwegian, ancient Norway that, and modern day, they still do it, that Frozen and its artwork and its themes and everything was based on. And what I basically grew up with, which is why I love Frozen so much when I saw it. Yeah, she is a sweetie. And actually, we're talking right now about Rachel coming on and doing one of my Mouse Tail interviews next year, maybe in January. So you might be able to see her then. That would be really cool. Thank you for joining us, Rachel. So anyway, this Akvit was so strong that they were having incidents with people getting too drunk off of just like having a shot of it or something after they had had something else during food and wine and stuff. And so they had to get rid of it because they were having incidents. And I was actually there. It didn't involve me, but I was actually there in the men's room behind the meet and greet area for Anna and Elsa and Norway, back in there when these two guys got into it. And I thought to myself, all right, these two guys are getting banned from Disney for life, and they're going to stop selling Akvit. The guys disappeared like in 2 or 3 minutes, and like 2 months later, when I came back for another visit, that was gone. But interesting. So that's it, basically. We've hit an hour off a couple of pages. My sincerest apologies for this being not technically the second day of Vlogmas, for it being Streammas, but I was so bummed. I have a brand new that a relative bought me on the floor right here, Alienware, real high speed, great at processing photos and stuff, gaming desktop computer, brand new. But I'm waiting for, I'm changing some security things with Microsoft, so it's going to take a few days. So the older computer that I was still working on, that's kind of on its last leg, it just decided that it had no more. Hopefully I'm not lagging like a Japanese monster movie, you know, where I'm talking, but I'm way off. I've had that experience too. So if you see me on the Mickey Bunch with Kelly and VP and the like, and you see that I'm on my phone, that's why I'm doing that right now. But hopefully that won't be for too much longer. Thank you everybody for joining me tonight. Faith, Hope, and Disney, aka Barbara, thank you so much for joining us. Candy Mom, as always, you are my stream mom. I really appreciate you taking good care of me when you're on here. Jim Ryan, you're like my brother. Thank you so much for educating me at some of our get-togethers at dinner, and really making me understand things a little bit better, and for your friendship too and support so much. Some of the things you've said have been so great. Katrina, I don't know what I would do without you. And Disinfinity, I'm not like putting you at the bottom of the list. I'm going down the chat. Disinfinity and Katrina, they were handing me on and off on one of the recent streams, like they were playing defense on a basketball court. It was quite interesting to see. Krista Knoxville, I know you're gone, but good night. Just going down. Kadani Sean, I think he's gone now, but he's great. Go and check out Kadani Sean's channel. He's a nice guy. We're becoming friends real quick, and it was his idea to do every other day instead of every day for Vlogmas, and I'm copying him on that. I don't think he's going to be copying me on Streammas unless he has an issue, but let's see. Kadani. And that's about it. Elena, thanks for joining us. And I think, Bob, proud to call your brother. Very proud indeed. That was fun. Yes. Thank you very much, Kadani Sean. Thank you very much, everybody. I'm at 1 hour and 3. And see what? I mean, I would have done Vlogmas and it would have been like 15 minutes. See, you get all this quality blabber from the hat. I mean, come on. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Go check out Kadani Sean and Disinfinity and Rachel Loves Disney and Mouse Talk, who was here. All my good friends. Take care, guys. I hope that you enjoyed this behind the scenes sort of Bob's Norwegian heritage, why Frozen was so great for me, and how it is like a Frozen Christmas every year. Now that we've had my dad playing Santa in the first episode of Vlogmas, and now this, we're going to move on to some other stuff, but you kind of got the idea where I'm coming from and what my Christmases have been like. So if I offer you some akvit or some rice pudding, you'll know there's some deep importance behind there. But you probably won't see me in the knickers, in in that folk costume. I don't know that I'll be putting that on anytime soon. Okay. All right, guys. Let me sign off now, saying what I always say. Come back and see us. We'll see you real soon. Why? Because we like you. Good night, everybody. The third day of Vlogmas will not be tomorrow, the 6th. I'm doing it every other day. That will be on the 7th, and which is Monday, and that is also, focus. I'm not talking to myself, I'm talking to the lens. That will also be the day that I'm doing a stream with the Hitchhiking Bones on Monday night. So the Vlogmas will drop at 8 o'clock, hopefully, and 7 p.m. on Monday. I will be interviewing the Hitchhiking Bones. Good night, everybody.